Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming and somebody on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Repeat, Owen's Path. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go! Haha, oh boy. People were getting killed in the last episode. I wonder if that'll translate to this one. Owen... Let's see... Did it not freaking save? Auto... There we go. Okay. There we go. Alright. And let's go ahead and... I'll wait. Alright, so let's go ahead. Oblivious to the chaos occurring indoors, Oleander continued fidgeting with the flower in his pocket as he faced Owen. Samuel, and I in the courtyard. Owen coughed into his elbow and cleared his throat again. Hey man, do you want me to get you some water? Nah, I'm good. Probably just feeling a little woozy from all that's happened tonight. I couldn't shake the slight nagging of concern from my head, but the two of us turned towards Oleander as he continued speaking. Well, you see, the Lorelei family has been in quite a stir as of late. Everyone has been very nervous. Nervous? About what? Well, I suppose nervous might be a little optimistic. Hysterical is much more accurate. We have suffered attacks from an unknown party these past few months, and it has driven everyone mad with fear and paranoia. What do you mean by attacks? Oh, you know, murders. Particularly of the stabbing variety. Samuel and I exchanged alarmed looks. Owen coughed again. Did you ever manage to catch who was behind these attacks? No, that's just a thing. They got away every time. And since they always cover their face, we still don't know who they are or where they came from. Samuel stepped forward between Owen and his father with a growl. You're not seriously accusing Owen. The kid hasn't been involved with the whole Lorelei and Adelaide mess since he was born. Oleander gulped. I fully agree with you. But ultimately, the rest of the family will require much more convincing, especially in their hysterical state. Owen suddenly pitched forward onto his knees, gasping at his throat while wheezing harshly. He managed to catch himself before his head hit the cobblestone. Sweat poured from his temples as his eyes squeezed shut with exertion. Owen! You alright? Can't breathe! Samuel was by Owen's side in an instant. Owen, how'd this happen? He's breaking out in hives, too. Is this an allergic reaction? We need to get him to the hospital. Samuel glanced around the courtyard wildly, his gaze honed into Oleander's jacket. A deep feral snarl erupted from Samuel's throat. Is that a real lily? Yes, but... You dumbass! He's allergic to lily pollen! I didn't know! Oleander's phone rang abruptly. The old man fumbled for it clumsily amidst his growing panic. Now of all times? Hello? I hope you have a good reason to call. There's a situation. Oleander stopped mid-sentence, his mouth agape. Second, Neil. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back in. 1 second, y'all. Let me make sure it's recording. It is, in fact, recording, y'all. Let's go ahead and jump back in, shall we? Okay. Oleander stopped mid-sentence, his mouth agape. What? An attack? Here? No. No. Do not come out here. He's not involved. The doors to the courtyard burst open as about a dozen men sprinted out and surrounded us. A shock of panic coursed through my veins as I caught sight of the metallic glint at their hips. Were they all armed? Boss, back away from those three. We've already lost 2 men to them. Samuel hunched over Owen's prone body protectively as he growled at the Lorelei hirelings surrounding us. Oleander, you bastard! Did you set us up? No, I swear on my life I didn't know. Oleander yelped as one of the hirelings grabbed him and dragged him away from the scene to safety. It just left the 3 of us with a dozen angry armed men. Owen was still rasping on the ground, clutching his throat. We needed to get him to the hospital. He was not going to last much longer. I glanced over at Samuel while biting my lip. He had a holster around his hip, likely armed as well, but that was useless when we were outnumbered to this degree. Hey, Echo. I'm pretty sure this counts as an emergency. That familiar cold shiver down my spine never felt more reassuring. I know. Brace yourself. Get ready to run. There was a sharp crack, followed by a hiss as a pipe in the courtyard fountain burst. The fountain immediately erupted into a gushing shower of water. The spray conspicuously sailed over Samuel and I while drenching each of the hirelings' faces with unnatural accuracy. The men all choked and flailed their arms wildly as they were blinded by the torrent of water. Come on, let's go! Samuel didn't need to be told twice. He quickly scooped up Owen in his arms bridal style while sprinting out of the courtyard, me close at his heels. Samuel roughly tackled several Lorelei hirelings to the side as we barreled our way through the school and into the parking lot. Several teachers and parents shrieked and dove out of the way to avoid us and the dozens of men following close behind. I knew that in the past he worked as a bodyguard and lived a criminal life, but seeing all that experience in motion was something else. His one good eye was slitted as like a predator as he charged through the hallways, clutching a nearly unconscious Owen to his chest. I've never seen Samuel so utterly feral before. The school's metal doors slammed open with a forceful kick. My lungs burned with exhaustion as I struggled to catch up with Samuel. Fuck! 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 I knew I shouldn't have driven here on a motorcycle. I can't carry Owen to the hospital like this. Panic and fear welled up in my chest as Lorelei hirelings bursted out of the school and charged across the parking lot towards us. A rough elbow shoved me backwards as Samuel stepped in front of me protectively. Get behind me, kid! I gulped. Samuel was a big and experienced guy, but against this many armed people, the situation seemed hopeless. I instinctively flinched, squeezing my eyes shut as a sharp gunshot echoed through the night air, followed by another and another. My heart was pounding so rapidly against my chest it felt as though it would burst. I reached out and grabbed Samuel's arm. Was he... What the hell? My eyes snapped open. Samuel was still standing in front of me, uninjured, thank God, looking utterly stupefied. One by one, each Lorelei hirelings dropped to the pavement, clutching either their arms or legs, slowly staining with red. A single bullet wound on each of them, dropping them to the floor. Who? Did Samuel do that? No. He was carrying an armful of Owen and looked as surprised as I was. There was no time to question this. Here was our chance. My mind raced as I rushed forward towards one of the injured hirelings. While he was busy groaning and clutching his leg in pain, I shoved my hands into his pocket and fished around furiously. There! I shot up and waved a set of car keys victoriously. Samuel! I found our ride! Samuel's face lit up as he caught sight of what was in my hands. With a click, a nearby sleek black car beeped in response. Good job, kid. Hurry up, get into the driver's seat. I gaped. You mean I have to drive? Samuel was already loading Owen into the back seats while furiously rummaging through his pockets. Thank God my boy's smart enough to carry an EpiPen with him. Hurry up and get in here. No arguments. You usually have to take the EpiPen, like, right after. like, right after. I didn't even get the chance to open my mouth before the school doors opened with a bang. Another group of Lorelei hirelings spotted us with a shrill shout and charged. I yelped and leaped into our freshly stolen car. Several more gunshots echoed through the parking lot. My hands shook as I jammed the keys into the ignition and revved the engine to life. Samuel clambered into the back seat behind me and slammed the door shut. He frantically rolled up Owen's pant leg while trying to uncap his EpiPen with his mouth. What are you waiting for? Drive! Right. I slammed on the gas and our car peeled sharply out of the parking lot. More gunshots. Most of the charging Lorelei hirelings fell victim to our unknown helpful shooter. However, several managed to cross the parking lot safely and enter their own cars. As I shakily steered our car towards the Gerania parking lot exit, 3 other cars followed closely behind. While I felt much safer inside a vehicle, we weren't quite out of danger just yet. Drive down Elm Street and take the highway. We should get to St. Florence Hospital in about 15 minutes. Right, will do. But what about the 3 cars chasing us? I'll figure something out. Just drive! I nodded and steered the car onto the main road. A small thought continued to nag in the back of my mind, though. Who took down all those hirelings earlier? As our car sped out of the school grounds, I glanced up at Gerania's buildings curiously, and then I spotted him. Far above us, a figure perched on the school rooftop like a motionless gargoyle. I leaned forward in my seat and strained my eyes. The night was dark, but the moonlight illuminated the figure just enough to discern the details. It was just one fleeting moment, but in this one brief moment from the seat of the speeding car, I saw him. Yup. A pair of golden hawk-like eyes pierced back at me, sharp and cold. He was so far away and I only saw his face for a mere second, but it was unmistakably familiar. Was that? Yep, that was Morse. But that was not the person dressed in white. So we have an unknown character in this route that we haven't seen in the previous one. Interesting. A phone buzzed in the seat next to me. It must have fallen out when I climbed into the driver's seat. Glancing downward, a single text message displayed on the screen. I will meet you at St. Florence Hospital later. Stay safe. From the rooftop of Durrani Academy, Morse watched as Adrian and Samuel's car sped out of the parking lot out of sight. About a dozen Lorelei hirelings were writhing on the pavement below, clutching their injured legs. Probably hurt like hell, but they were all still alive. He sighed, quietly lowering his sniper rifle. I might have grown a little too soft these past few years. Metallic hinges squeaked as the school's doors opened once more. A hooded figure strolled out into the parking lot, their white clothing stained with dark splatterings of red. They calmly walked up to one of the injured Lorelei hirelings crawling on the pavement. With one smooth motion, the figure forcefully scrubbed the hireling's head through a fistful of hair while another hand reached for the knife at their hip. Morse swore loudly and raised his sniper rifle. Damn. He was too late. That hireling was surely dead. Morse took a deep breath and focused on steadying his grip. The hooded figure stood up from their dead and for their deed and turned their head towards another whimpering Lorelei hireling in the distance. Morse held his breath as he took aim. Oh shit, he dodged it! What? The hooded figure ducked and lunged across the parking lot with inhuman speed, turning into a dark blur in the night. Morse hissed. He took aim and pulled the trigger again, only to be met with the soft click of an empty magazine. He swore sharply again. By the time he shoved a fresh magazine into his rifle and peered through the scope, the hooded figure was gone. Well, this complicates things. Fucking shit. Meanwhile, across town, Samuel had a sigh of relief as he looked up from Owen's prone body in the back of our stolen car. All the while, 3 other cars raced at our heels as we sped down the highway at breakneck speeds. Speed limits were not adhered to tonight. It looks like Owen's stabilized and breathing again. Finally, some good news. How you holding up there, kiddo? There are armed men chasing and shooting at us on the highway, Samuel. Not good would be optimistic. Despite the peril, Samuel couldn't help but grin as he climbed from the back of the car into the passenger seat. Man, if it weren't for the fact that you kids were involved, this whole mess might have been fun. Reminds me of the good old days of Graham. More bullets pinged off the car's exterior. Samuel rolled down his window and took a quick pot shot at one of our pursuers. The front window cracked with a sharp crack, and they slowed down slightly from the impaired view. Looked like it'd take more than that to throw them off our tail. Samuel growled and rolled up his window. The Lorelei's must be real desperate if they're willing to make such a public scene. You mean they're not usually like this? Oh, they're always fairly murder-happy, but they usually keep it all under wraps. Got the connections to cover up anything ugly they've done. Still, I think this is the first time they've been so out in the open. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!